For October the 2nd, 2020, we talk about Crusader Kings III, the Resident Evil Village trailer, and we do a free play multiplayer. Welcome to Level 345. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I am David Myesmith.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games after an impromptu week off due to a bunch of things, but happy to be back now.
Just imagine 2020 and imagine for yourself what led to us needing to be off.
It was mostly okay stuff. I think that there was just last minute availability problems was really all that it was really all that was the problem.
It's a positive sign. We're out of lockdown enough to be busy.
True.
One of the weeks I had to leave my city because of death smoke. So that was
yes,
that was 2020-ish.
That was why you couldn't be on the last episode that we recorded. Yeah, how are you doing, Ben?
I'm fine. I got away from the death smoke. So
that's good.
I'm just imagining that as the inevitable sequel to Death Stranding. Death Smoke.
What? So you were. If it won't compromise your OPSEC, where did you go to? Because my understanding was it was pretty bad for a long way east.
So I went to Denver because there were. And this was one of the most depressing moments of 2020 for me is I had to do the cost benefit analysis of flying to another city and risking getting COVID against staying in my apartment that doesn't have air conditioning and trying to figure out what the air quality would be after another 4 or 5 days and how that would affect my long-term health.
Right.
So, weighing those two things, I decided to go to Denver, got an Airbnb. I have a cousin who lives out there, so I ended up seeing her for one of the days, and in a socially distanced setting.
Cool.
And I just worked remotely, so that was very nice that I had the option to do that. But yeah, it was. It was novel for the first 2 days because this started on a Friday where it's there's a bunch of wildfires. It's going to be smoky. Grab your groceries. Stay inside all weekend. It's okay, sure, no problem. But then it was originally they were this will be done by Sunday night or something like that. And it's Monday morning rolls around. It's still here, not leaving. Going to be this until Friday. And it's oh
yeah,
I don't like this. So I now have a air purifier in my house. So. That's nice.
That's good. Yeah.
So I feel like maybe America just needs to recognize where things are going and just burn everything down and have it over with.
I mean, what you just described is called accelerationism, and that's for some people.
We used to joke about California kind of shaking off into the ocean. Now it's just a whole different set of problems for them.
Yeah, to be fair, Venus doesn't have any political problems at all.
Yet.
Good point.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know that. The whatever passes for life there, the microbes are probably deep in it.
Up those treacherous clouds. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So it's good. I'm glad you were able to get out of there. Are things, basically the story has fallen off a little bit, and I'm assuming that means no news is good news. Are things okay there now? Is it?
The first rain was Friday, Saturday, and then there was another rain I think on the following Monday, and after that it's been no problem at all.
Okay,
that's good.
So yeah. But the silver lining was there's a sweet Saturday morning where it literally looked like Blade Runner, where it's the skies were yellow, orange, when you woke up, and it's wow.
Yeah.
The future is now.
Dystopian future.
I thought technology would be cooler.
What's that quote? The future's already here. It's just not evenly distributed.
Yeah, that's fair.
So speaking of city troubles, David, how about you? What's up? How are you doing?
Bobby and weaving,
of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You been up to anything fun?
I've been enjoying my father's cooking. That's definitely been good.
That's cool.
Nice.
It's been much better than my thing of, hey, I found out I can buy massive amounts of barley for almost no money.
Hey, but you're not in college anymore. You're buying barley, not ramen.
Exactly.
Or wait, are you still buying ramen?
Have I introduced you to our new barley ramen?
I still buy ramen, but I make stuff with it's not just ramen. I crack eggs in it, put greens in and meat and peppers and all that. Like I do it up like a ramen place. Yeah.
I feel like that is someday going to be like a hipster product. It's just going to be called It's Not Just Ramen.
Yeah, no, just you crack an egg into anything, just literally just anything, and it makes it better. Even ramen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so funny. We've got a stock of ramen downstairs, and like I can never remember intentionally wanting to buy ramen. Mm-hmm. I think you just wind up in situations where you're like, "Holy, it's how much? Oh,
yeah, well, 30 cents for this bag." Okay, yeah.
I think my favorite thing about ramen, or I guess like not non-instant ramen, is just that one of the flavors is just like salt flavored. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate when my food is honest with me.
Dennis, how about you? What's going on?
Not too much. I was supposedly going to be off next week or last week before everyone was off last week. Because Jen and I crossed our 9th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations!
So exciting.
Oh wow!
We do the gimmick of like every year has a traditional gift theme to it, and so we'll try to do something.
You know, this year was the mask year.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. We so the theme is willow and pottery.
Okay.
So choose your own adventure years, I guess. But so we wound up just finding there was a willow park in Louisville, and we're like, driving distance, easy to reach, and relatively secluded. Sure, that's good enough for us. So we went down to Louisville, did a ton of hiking, and generally had a great time. And then we stopped by a famous pottery shop there because apparently a pottery shop can be famous.
See, you chose by far the most boring way to have the pot's anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, she is pregnant right now.
Yeah.
Good point.
Look, don't get me started on year 3, which is leather. All right. We bought this thing to commemorate the anniversary and everything. And we came home, we had a vase with flowers in it on our mantle and swapped it out. And I swear to God, you put those two next to each other, I couldn't tell you which is which, but damn it, we did the theme. I had a great time doing it.
It was more about the trip, it sounds like, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean, like any good, okay, I'm going to stop with this.
I have a question. So how is hiking if she's like 5 or 6 months pregnant?
Determined to just keep on moving. So
Jesus.
You know, Jen.
I do know Jen. Yeah.
Yeah. She was all for it. I think it's a very interesting balance of feel good enough to be like, I can probably do literally everything, and then collapse from it for just long enough to start feeling good again. You're like, but wait, I'm starting to feel good again. So let's do literally everything.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I let her dictate the pace, obviously given her situation. But we got I think an average of 7.5 miles in a day.
Oh my God!
I mean, we're going at a waddle, but it's cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And I have not much. I had an ear infection last week.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I usually get one. I usually get it once a year. Usually, it's after the Portland Retro Game Expo, just because of all the contagions. We're not doing that this year, obviously. So wait, I guess I had to get it somehow. Yeah, so I don't know.
Your body finds a way.
Yes, it'll scrounge up with the necessary microbes somewhere. So spent a lot of time asleep with my head on a heating pad, and no voice, because like I don't know if you guys have experience with this, but like for me at least, an ear infection is not like pain in the ear. It is a big old lump in my throat.
Oof.
Yeah, because like inner or lower ear, like down in the down in the tubes in my head's causeways. So it's yeah, that was just a bummer. But go ahead.
I was just saying, I've experienced not quite the same thing, but if I ever get like a really bad sinus infection, it manifests as tooth pain. And I've literally gone to the dentist before thinking I had something wrong with my teeth when I just had a really bad sinus infection.
Yeah.
So I feel you that it's like the affected area does not necessarily have to be.
The body does not know how to tell you about internal pain. So
something is fucked right now.
Yep. I don't know why, but your knee hurts right now, and it's your problem. I'm looking at Dottie sleep.
Aww.
Yeah, she likes her favorite spot right now. There's a little spot in between my bookshelf and a wall that I have a dust mop sitting in right now, and she is asleep on top of the dust mop. That is distinct from her usual spot, which is sleeping on top of my slipper. Last night was the first night that I just kind of like let her run around the house. Like, just like, I'm going to go to sleep and we're going to see if she can handle the freedom. And I woke up and I saw that she was asleep on my slipper in the room. She normally sleeps on it with my foot in it. But even without my foot in it, she was like, this is my bed now. Yeah. Dottie's my kitten. Just so people, I don't know if that was clear.
To be fair, from what I've seen on Facebook, Greta stole her home. So.
Oh, her little her strawberry bed. Yeah, no, I got Dottie a bed that looks like a strawberry. And they've worked out. They're not fighting about it anymore. And Dottie has had control over it over the past few days.
Nice.
But she's been rolling around in it. She's figured out, like, I can't, it's not just that I sleep in this. By climbing up the sides, I can roll around in this like it's one of those cage balls from American Gladiator. So I've not been able to get a video of her doing this, but yeah, she is a little American Gladiator.
She's Samusing it.
Yes. Yeah. Which is fun, but yeah, she is. Kittens are cool, guys.
I'm watching a video of Greta trying to groom Dottie that you posted, and it's adorable. So adorable.
Yeah, like Dottie will. I mean, Dottie brings it on herself because she will like sneak up on Greta when she's just sitting there, and then like attack Greta's tail, and Greta will turn around, pin her down, and then start trying to lick her belly.
Girl, go wash your face.
Yep. Oh man.
Side note, is there a way to stop Discord from giving me like the play-by-play of the debate from one of the other channels?
You can mute channels if you right-click and click mute until you turn it back on.
Yeah, we're recording this while the debate is going on. The first presidential debate between.
Yeah. And of course, nothing bad will happen
between the available choices. Yeah. So that's a lot of preamble. It's been a while since we have convened. It is nice to get back in the swing of it with you guys. But it would be even nicer to do the regular kind of show, which would be, the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss. And why don't we get started with The Grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the past period of time or so. Ben, it's been the longest since you've been here. So
I was not prepared.
Gonna start with you. I mean,
right.
You knew you were going to be going eventually.
I know. I just didn't mentally prepare for this. I never, whatever. But all right, that's fine. I'll talk about things in a random chaotic order, probably.
Okay, put the two that we've both been playing last, and then we can say.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know one of those, and then let me see if I can. I don't know if I know the second one. What's the non-STS one?
It might be Among Us.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool. All right, so
I was going to do some like slant indicating the name, and then I just said the name. So
that
was my thing.
All right, so I've played Paper Mario. I've continued playing Paper Mario. It continues to be okay. I still don't know if I'm like the target audience for it or not. It's really weird. I don't know what to make of it. It doesn't seem like a Mario game. Maybe I haven't played any of the other Paper Mario games, so maybe this is like fitting with all the other games, but it's like, yeah, it's just a really bizarre game. Still has the same like abstract combat system. That really hasn't changed at all. It's just they're kind of just going to different settings now. The thing that's kind of interesting, or at least that's admirable about it, is instead of it being like a traditional Mario game where it's like you go to this wacky world and this wacky world and this wacky world, they're trying to kind of like tie it all together and make it kind of sensible. So like one of the settings that you go to, let me try and think of a way to say this without spoiling things. Also, it's more or less kind of like what Silent Hill 3 did when you go to this like horror house or whatever. It's kind of similar to that, where it's like you go to the setting that happens to be that gives them leverage to do like a bunch of different things that they can that they wouldn't be able to do if you were just in the real world.
So can Mario get pyramid headed? Because that would be
that's the crossover I want.
Yeah, that's basically what Phanto is.
I was gonna say, is that in Smash Bros yet?
You would need to like have a 5-pointed pyramid head, and then maybe it could work in the Mario universe.
Maybe,
but
yeah,
maybe I don't know. Maybe you could have a pyramid bad guy. I guess. Yeah, you could easily do that as long as it's geometric. It could be a bad guy in the Mario universe.
I feel like I nailed it with Phanto, and you guys aren't giving me credit for that.
Let me look up Phanto.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty appropriate.
Phanto's the mask that chases you in Mario 2.
Yeah, have we established, like, I feel like that doesn't get enough credit for just being one of the most terrifying enemies from my childhood.
People talk about it in the same, kind of in the same breath as they will talk about like the angry sun in Mario 3. I love Phanto. I've got a wooden.
Oh yeah, I was just say this is your
yeah. I've got a wooden carving of Phanto on my wall here in my office. Like it's a good enemy, and I like it a lot.
So this is a complete tangent, but with this stick fighting stuff I do, you wear the like fencing masks, and people traditionally paint them. I've been trying to think what I should paint mine as. I might have to do a Phanto mask. That would be awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. But so they do like a funhouse kind of level, or they do a level where it's kind of like basically like any kind of game where it takes you to an amusement park, and a good part of it is just going through the amusement park.
Yeah. It gives them leverage to kind of explore a different theme that they've had up to that point, but they're doing it in a way that's like consistent with the world, and it's not just kind of like wacky teleportations to different parts.
Nice.
So at least that's respectable. The abstract puzzle game or whatever, like there's parts that are cool to it, or there's like certain puzzles that are like really interesting that you maybe want to have more time on. I don't know why they have a timer mechanic in it. I think that's probably a miss, especially if like the target audience for this game is like younger people.
You're in line with what other people have said about it by bringing that up.
I mean, there's ways to extend the timer by spending coins, and you basically have like an infinite amount of coins. So it's like, but at that point, it's like I just don't even know why this system is there.
Yeah,
it's not really like a meaningful choice at all.
That's in Mario and Rabbids. There's a thing where they give you the option to take extra health at the beginning of every level, and it gets to the point where like I don't know how you beat these if you don't take the extra health. So I wonder if it's that kind of same principle of like we're going to make you feel like you have the option when really this is kind of the default.
They do have a good mitigation with that, where it's like even if you don't get a perfect lineup, you still attack people, and so you can still kind of think optimally about like, okay, well, this isn't perfect, but I can attack like these 4 squares at a time, or I can attack this line at a time, so I can at least take out like this many enemies or something. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it though. It's like there's not enough to do with the system, I think. Like they have like basically 2 modes: the regular mode when you fight people, where you have to do this lineup like I was talking about. And there's another one with bosses where it's like they put a bunch of like power-ups throughout it, and like Mario like runs across the rings and can be directed.
Wait, what is Mario now Sonic?
Like that's the game. No, like you're rotating these like concentric circle ring kind of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, And so one of them, he's in the middle and he has to attack people outwards. The other one, he's starting on the outside and you're attacking the boss who's on the inside. But they're completely different game. It's like completely different rule sets. But that's it. There's not a lot of elaboration within either of the two of those. So I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of like half baked right now. I hope it gets better. I would be down with that. Like it could have potential, but I'm more realistically, I think it's probably just like a okay game mechanic, and it's not really that great.
No. So if you're still saying that on week 4 of playing it, something's wrong.
Yeah,
I feel really bad about this game. Like, not disagreeing or anything. I haven't even played it. I just mean I feel bad for this game because it seems like all the reviews I see of it are like, man, this is an amazing game. I just don't like playing it that much.
Yeah. That's where Paper Mario has been for a while. I think that generally people really like the aesthetic and they like the way that the characters are written. But since the 1,000-Year Door, which was the one back on GameCube, I think each of them has been divisive and come up short for the majority of people who tried them.
See, I don't get why they don't just make, like, I realize you can't call it this or whatever because intellectual property is dumb, but, like, why don't they just make a Mario RPG?
I mean, they called it that. It's like, yeah, it literally was called Super Mario RPG.
Right, no, what I'm saying is, like, make, like, I don't know, at least it seems to me that all these games go wrong in that they try to be, like, baby's first RPG.
Yeah. I mean, they've had that. It's just been on portable. Like the Mario and Luigi games, Superstar Saga, Partners in Time. Like those are generally like a little kiddie, but they have not they've not proceeded in the same direction as Paper Mario. And I think that they picked up the torch from where Paper Mario started, and continued more in that direction. And Paper Mario kind of became a different thing.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on from Mario.
I was going to ask you what else you've been playing.
This is pretty mediocre. The other game that I've been playing that I think is better than mediocre, but I still don't know how I feel about it, is I've continued playing Crusader Kings III.
Cool.
Yes.
And so I've spent, I think, like 2 weekends playing it, so maybe like 3 to 4 days. It has the same property of Stellaris, where you can easily lose a lot of time playing it.
That's a little bit why I haven't started. I need to beyond the tutorial. Like I need to get further ahead on assignment stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. I do think it's like trying a new drug out, where you're like, man, am I going to be addicted to this forever? But not that I've tried whatever. But it's good. So you still kind of learn the mechanics. Like even after the tutorial, I played through the tutorial twice. Like there's still mechanics that'll come up, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that's how this works. So there's like a lot of like slowly figuring out the mechanics as you're playing it, which is like a really interesting way to play the game. Or it's like they basically they made a simulation and are like, here you go. Like, do what you want to do with this. And as Kole mentioned, like at the opening credits, they say like, there's not a win condition here. Like, do what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, go ahead.
What is the most degenerate thing you have done?
I murdered a child of my rival by burning him at the stake because they were a different religion.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
That's pretty good. And I don't think my populace even cared. I don't think it affected anyone.
I still did that. Huh.
At least to me, I feel like some of the most disturbing, or maybe not disturbing, but like kind of funny part of this is that the game is often rigorously set to like advise things based on your filters. So it has no problem with being like, based on your filter, the best person for you to take as a wife is your mother.
Hey, let's roll the dice, man.
Yeah, they have like the other articles have built it as this, but it's like a Tinder system almost, where it's like you have a list of suitors or suitees, and you can like rank them by age and stuff. And
you want those heritable traits.
Yes, that's one of the things you can filter by, is whether or not their traits can be passed down to future generations.
I'm just imagining Ben being like, swipe right, burn at the stake, swipe right, burn at the stake.
I mean, what you don't want is some kind of Habsburg situation.
Where people go crazy or whatever.
Just where they get so inbred that they can't speak because their jaw gets all weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I could have like the Lovecraftian, rats in the walls, dynasty, that might be fun.
I'm naming this country Innsmouth.
So this is completely off topic, but have you guys seen that there's an Easter egg that one of the things you can do in this is just establish a witch coven and gain supernatural power?
They fixed that for Halloween. I saw a headline about that.
Wait, what is this?
Fixed it by taking it away or fixed it by adding it?
I mean, it was in the game, and then it didn't work right, and then one of the recent patches here was we need to get witchcraft on lock by the time Halloween comes around.
Oh, gotcha. Huh.
Some other cool thing. Well, yeah. So with the dating system too, the thing that's uncomfortable about it is you can pair off an adult with a 6-year-old or vice versa, where it's this 15-year-old. I'm going to pair it up with this 50 or 60-year-old.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's weird too is one of the stats that it gives you is chance of producing a child, because the gameplay is as soon as your character dies, you just go to your next heir.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's the next person related to you or the next person in line for the throne. Because I've only died once in one of my playthroughs. So I think it's closest next of kin, I believe. So you might be demoted. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, other things you can do in this game that are fun. I'm not sure. You can gain secrets of people. Your spouses can cheat on you, and you can kick them out of the bedroom, excommunicate them later.
You can do it's a whole system for schemes where you can do either negative ones right up to murdering somebody. You can plot to have somebody knocked off, or you can do curry somebody's favor. There are positive schemes you can engage in to win people over.
Knocked out, knocked off, or knocked up. You choose.
The Crusader Kings story.
I know they can also do things where your wife can cheat on you and then pass off the child as your heir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I sent you guys a picture of this too, where I had a bastard child, and it popped up a tutorial bastard children.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
By accident, or how'd that happen?
Yeah, I found out my wife was cheating on me. I was cucked in a video game, dude.
So she had the bastard child.
Yeah, well, I don't know. No, I mean, it's my bastard, okay?
That can actually be in your best interest, because then you get all the advantages without having to worry about them trying to take over your kingdom.
Yeah.
I think that's the mechanical advantage, yeah.
I'm not sure what the trade-offs are. On one of my playthroughs, my government had changed to a general election, and I was trying to get my 6-year-old daughter into the office because she was brilliant, but she was third or fourth in line to the crown. So I kept there's a mechanic where you can not excommunicate, but you can cast out a family member from line of succession.
Yeah, it's disown or disinherit, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. But it costs prestige to do that. So it's a limited resource to do that. So I did that with the first two, but then I had another person in line of the throne before this Wunderkind. And so I made a scheme to kill my own child so I could get because I had to think of getting the really smart one in power. So long term would be good.
I was about to say, you monster. False fair.
Yeah, it's a weird game, man. You do things like this. The part that I feel
I'm imagining being afraid for my life because my brother got better SATs than I did.
So the part that I feel a little disempowered over, though, is there's certain run-throughs that I've had where I'll be in a county or whatever, and my military strength won't be as high as anyone around me, so I can't attack them. And I don't know how to improve it. My neighbors are improving militarily quicker than I am. And so I don't know what to do in that situation. And so I'll either just restart and do another run through somewhere else, or
where are you generally starting up? What are you doing?
I've done 2 Scotland run-throughs. I've done 1 or 2 like Holy Roman Empire run-throughs, and I'm on a French run-through right now.
Gotcha.
So it is cool that the different ones that you play as, it's kind of like they kind of show you different mechanics of the game. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. Where it's like the first run through that I did when I was Holy Roman Empire, it's a lot of like delegating your land to other people and like trying to manage your vassals, which are mm-hmm. like people that control land in your kingdom.
Yeah.
The Scotland run through, it's like you have maxed out military, so it's just like, all right, I'm just going to attack everyone around me and take over Scotland for myself, and that worked out okay.
Do you scream freedom?
Only when the British come and start trying to boss you around.
Yeah.
No, Ben, I mean you at the screen whenever you initiate an attack.
I mean, I scream a lot of things. I don't know if freedom was in there or not.
Oh man! But like Scotland has like they have kind of a different system in the game because they have the clans, right?
Yeah, but I haven't really seen much of that. I know there's like issues with like religion too, and that's like that comes up in some run throughs more than others. Like that comes up in the French run through. But like with Scotland, they're all Catholic, I think, so it doesn't really come up as much. Like your bishop doesn't have like areas to convert.
No.
It's like another thing that I've explored more is like, so you have like a council of like 6 people, and they all have actions, but you don't really know when you need to do them or not.
Yeah.
So it's like slowly figuring that out. So like one person can like, you have like each of the areas you control have like a control meter to it of like how well you do that, and that determines how well you can extract money and people from them. Mm-hmm. And so one of your court members can like up the control of certain areas, but it takes time. You can use your priests to convert areas to different religions, but that has a cost to it. Spy masters can find secrets in different regions, but then they can't do other schemes at the same time. So it's all these like weird actions and trade-offs. I don't know how it all comes together. So it's definitely like kind of like an exploring phase right now. Yeah. Like I would love to watch somebody who's really good at the game play through it, but I don't know if people like that exist yet, since it's still kind of new.
Without a win condition, I think everyone is really good at the game. Like how do you measure that?
I mean, you can die without an error and lose the game pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so no win condition, but definitely a lose condition.
Yeah, you basically like you decide on your win condition, and you can figure out like what your goal is going to be. But like there definitely is like an end to the game. I think it stops when you get to like the 1800s or something like that. Once things get a little bit too modern, the metaphor breaks down just a little bit. But there's definitely
don't worry, it's coming back.
Yeah, it's fine. Feudalism. It's cool. But
this is like a count your score kind of thing. That if you manage to survive to the quote unquote end game,
how big was my empire? Like how many,
then there's a win condition. What are you guys talking about?
Well, it's a win condition you decide on.
Doesn't just do like the Warhammer 40k thing where you can just get to like the 34th century but somehow still have feudalism.
Oh geez. You're not doing a good job of dissuading me from wanting to play this game way too much, Ben. So I don't know. I didn't tell you that was your job, but
but here we are.
Yeah.
The one thing is like, you can't really, this isn't really like a weeknight game. It's hard to fire this up at like 7:00 or something, because it's like, you just can't really do too much with it. It's definitely more of a game that you want to play like on the weekend when you have time to allocate to it.
Yeah. All I can think about is the B's that should have been A's that resulted from me laying in bed playing Civilization Revolution on my DS. God, that was such a good game.
Super was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see this game kind of like falling out of favor if there's not. I know there's not a win con, but if there's no like long-term goals to go for, or like interesting things there, or if it like hard stops before you can reasonably do much, I could see myself like kind of falling off of it. But it's definitely interesting, I will say, so far. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
Onward. So 2 more that I want to talk about. I'm not sure the order here. I guess I'll talk about this one because I want to save the other one for last. I've been playing a little bit of Slay the Spire. I was recently motivated because one of my friends was on level 20 Ascension, and they offhandedly said that they were worried that I would beat that before they did, and I would think I was at level 15. Yeah,
you smell blood in the water. Like, I'm going to do that then.
This was also Brian Perk, so I especially wanted to beat him. I don't know if that comes through or not.
Well,
but so I did my darndest. I'm at level 18. I was at level 15 on Sunday, I think. But sadly, Brian Perk has beat level 20 Ascension tonight, in this very night.
No point in playing anymore.
Pretty much. I'm going to return the game to Steam now and say I want a refund.
After how many hours?
Has he beat it with every character?
He certainly is not. He's only done Ascension on the first character. And I've made this point multiple times. I'm like level 7 with all of them, Ascension-wise. But
what is considered the easiest character to drive to Ascension level 20?
Man, I don't know. People have different opinions on this. I think perhaps the hardest might be Quiet, maybe, or Silent.
Yeah.
Just because high defense.
That sniper rifle, I mean.
Well, oh yeah. The high defense can get broken like really easily by a lot of the bosses in the first world. And I don't know.
Interesting, because I would say, so this is one of the games that I have been playing as well. It was on my radar for a long time, and I just didn't want to get into it before the Kickstarter because I knew I would play it the way I've been playing it, which is basically to the exclusion of literally everything else in my life. You guys are lucky I'm here tonight.
Yeah, I saw you playing it minutes before recording as well.
Yep. I got a real good defect run going. I'm excited about it. It's all lightning all the time. But so far, my most dominant wins have been with the Silent.
Okay.
And I've gotten the pickups that basically give you advantages when you play a certain number of attacks. So there's one that gives you strength when you play attacks. There's one that gives you armor when you play a certain number of attacks. Relics. And then there's another that whenever you apply poison, it applies more poison. Like every attack applies poison. You can also get a relic that whenever you apply poison, it applies an extra point, and which with the relic that applies poison effectively doubles how much you're dealing. Mm-hmm. And there just comes a point I think I've won it twice that way now. There just comes a point where you can essentially close your eyes and spam attacks and just everything is dead.
Yeah. I will say the strategies vary as you go higher up in the Ascension levels because like it's just more and more airtight, like what you need to do. Like it's it's just so hard. like you can make all the right decisions and still have no chance at winning if you don't get lucky enough with things.
If you just don't find the right relics or what have you.
Yeah, and for some reason, like I usually bounce off of like very high difficulty things, but for some reason I'm okay with this. I don't know why. I guess I'm already invested. But yeah. I should mention too, I got to see Dennis and his family do a couple run throughs of this 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's been good times. So I feel like I've entered that I'm like officially in that stage of life where my kids are old enough to play a wide variety of games. And if you guys remember, they really liked Hand of Gilgamesh. Has upon playing both now has a very similar setup. Mm-hmm. Just this one's more of the roguelike vein. The other is more of an epic, RPG vein. But very, very similar games. And so Luke and Milo have frequently been watching me play. So I've got an account that's the Furias, and then I've got an account for me. So I don't have to feel like if we stop in the middle of a run, I'm cheating them out of seeing how it plays. But I continue to advocate, Ben, that is the most fun handicap. Because Luke and Milo have quickly found kind of their pet cards that they just like and will always want me to take and upgrade and keep and all that stuff.
Which ones are they?
Blood for blood, for sure.
I knew it. I kept saying blood for blood the first time.
Yeah, well, and Milo calls it blood of blood. So blood of blood, blood of blood.
I mean, Milo's what? He's 4.
Yep. No, they saw literally first off, the little buggers won their first game.
Cool.
Like the first, and I'm kind of steering them through it, but I was taking their advice. They literally won on their first try, so that's wonderful.
Ooh, that's the worst thing that could happen. It got them cocky.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent you a video. I don't know if it went through. We got down to where like the final turn, and I knew we had enough damage to defeat the final boss. And so I got out my phone to film it, and Luke's like, let's use our worst card to kill him. I was like, oh, he already knows how to BM. Crap. He's already gloating. But yeah, so it's Blood for Blood, and then Thunderclap is another one that I think it deals 4 damage. Yeah, 4 damage and vulnerable, I think, to all enemies. But there was that evolved more. The first run, I think we had it stolen from us. There's an event where you fall and have to spend one of your cards to, and we had just picked up Thunderclap, and then that just the way it worked out was like by far the best card to get rid of. The other two were like central to the build or whatever, and they were so heartbroken because they were so excited about picking it up. And so now every time it shows up, they go nuts because it's in their minds as this like thing that was taken from them. Now it doesn't register that it's across runs or anything. It's just like they need to get it back. So yeah, those two are the big favorites right now, at least. That's been a lot of fun. And it is a very interesting handicap to play with those pet cards, or just make the random decisions, or kind of truly just be like, which way do you guys want to go, and see where it lands.
There were some fun moments there where like they would say like there would be like 3 cards to pick or whatever, and they'd be like, let's pick this one, and then you would totally veto and be like, I think this one's the better card, guys. Like, we're gonna take this one.
I have my limits.
When you take your kid bowling, at least for the first few times, you leave the bumpers up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you certainly don't let them throw it at a car in the parking lot.
Wow, we have very different takes on optimal parenting.
And bowling, apparently.
Yeah.
We'll see who has a kid that hits 300 first.
Double dragon,
But yeah, so that's been a blast.
Yeah. So you've beaten the game with Ironclad. You've beaten the game with Silent.
And then as of 3 a.m. last night, not exaggerating, beat it with the Watcher. Okay. I was so close on a run around like, I don't know, probably right around midnight, and then it was denied me, and I was like, I have to beat it tonight.
Wow,
I have to beat it this morning.
It's kind of disturbing to me. I just found apparently there are like tier lists for Slay the Spire cards.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. But yeah, and then I have yet to win with the defect. But I will hardcore beyond that ascension tip, which makes the runs progressively harder once I do that.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I agree with this tier list. I'm gonna have to see. Have to see how official this is. It has Feed as an S+ card.
Ooh. So this is why this game is dangerous, guys. I've literally been dreaming about this game that I haven't done for a game since I found Hearthstone. Like it is in my head.
Nice.
It is a really cool experience. It's not like it's just like the de facto game for what it is. Like it's very elegantly done. There's like, I don't know. If you play another game like this, you're like, oh, this is just like a clunkier version of Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
I mean, this is to card games of this type what XCOM is to turn-based strategy for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's now becoming the matchup of like, are you a Slay the Spire person or a Monster Train person?
I think I'm Slay the Spire. Monster Train's fine, but it doesn't have like the variance that Slay the Spire has. Like in Monster Train, it seems like you're picking like 3 or 4 lanes to go down, but in Slay the Spire, it's very, very open-ended. The other thing I was thinking about that I want to comment on this too is the boss design in Slay the Spire is so good. Because the idea is it's open-ended. The the bosses that you face and the person that you play as are independent of one another. And basically the bosses just serve, or just any of the enemies serve as checks for what kind of deck style you have. And they'll punish you if you have like certain types of decks. So like there's certain bosses that'll punish you if you only have a few cards in your deck. There's bosses that punish you if you rely too heavily on powers, things like that. And so all of that combined is just like a perfect experience where it's like, it doesn't matter what character you have going through. You don't have to change the bosses at all because they're so well testing against every type of deck that you could possibly build. Yeah.
I love that idea for designing, and this is me imagining what went into it, of, all right, we want a test for, mill. We want a test for, a one-hit kill turns. And then designing something that will punish that specific thing while still being interesting then for everything else.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that is one of the high points of the game, is it's so well designed there. And the characters are good too. All 4 of them I think are fun. I've appreciated the Ironclad more, having to do harder and harder runs, because it made me try styles that I wasn't really into at the lower levels. So like I'm a lot higher on like the fire breathing card. If you can get it in the right deck where you draw a bunch of like status cards, it deals damage to all enemies every time you draw a status card. And you can chain it with, there's like another power you can get where whenever you draw a status card, you draw another card. And so you can get like some nuts combos there where it's like you just draw 10 statuses and then like murder everybody. So
as you do.
Yeah.
I apologize that I haven't chimed in. I've not played this game and I have no frame of reference, so I'm letting you guys go.
It's all good. I don't think I have too much more to say about it on my end. Dennis, what else did you have to say about it?
That covers it. We hit all my points going through.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what you think when you beat it with Defect and then start doing more of the challenge modes.
Yeah.
So.
Here, I'll end on this note. It has gotten to the point where I am just leaving it up on my computer. Like I'll quit out of the game, or I'll quit out of the run, but I won't quit out of the game because I know I'll be back the first second I can.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you did this after your Kickstarter and not before or during.
Know thyself.
All right, and then the last game to talk about is one that I've talked about before, but I've been playing a lot more of Among Us, and more consistently too, which I've been happy about. So we have a Discord server set up. A feature that Discord has that I didn't know it had before is you can add roles to people. And then you can like use an @ to ping specific roles. So a nice feature of this is you just add a role to everybody who plays Among Us, and then you can ping all those people and be like, hey, let's play tonight at this time. Who's available? And you can get responses pretty well. So I think Friday, Sunday, and last night we got groups of people together, at least 8 or more people. I think it was typically 9 and maybe a few 10s. That game continues to be pretty fun. It's nice that it's like very open to any type of person who wants to play games. It's not like a gamery game. It's like playing Werewolf and like Mafia in those games. And those games are also like very open, I feel like, to general audiences. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this game. I don't know how much I've talked about it before.
Yeah, so I mean, you described the premise and kind of ran through the rhythm of like how a round generally goes. And I've definitely read more about it because I think that when you talked about it, it had just kind of like roared back in as like the thing people are playing, like the hot new game.
Yeah.
I like it sounds really, really fun to me.
Yeah, I think the main things that have evolved over the past few weeks is I think people are pretty clear on map ranking now as far as which maps are the best designed and which ones kind of the left the most to be desired. I don't know if any of that information will land for anyone though, because I don't know if people know the map types here. But basically, I think it's also like the quality of the map is also the same as the order in which they designed them. Because I think when the game launched, there was just one map, and they added the second and third one like a couple months at a time afterwards. But yeah. I guess the other part is like there's weird like meta that evolves with like there's a concept of stat killing a person where it's like if like 5 or 6 people are in a pile together, then you just kill a person randomly, and then like it's really hard to see who was the person that did it.
Oh shoot, yeah.
And so you just have this weird meeting where it's like, well, 5 or 6 of us was here. I don't know who the killer was. And so you can kind of get away with it, but it's like it's really risky. As I found out, I think a night or two ago, is I tried to stack kill when there's like 4 or 5 people, but apparently there was like a small desync issue, and everyone clearly saw me murder a person right next to them. So
that is more like, you know, the thing where everyone's in a room, the lights go out, come back on, and one person is dead. Like that's an interesting story you can tell around that.
And it's a mechanic that people are taking advantage of that was not intentional.
Yeah. Then some of the other things in the meta is like figuring out the sabotage behavior. It's so there's a couple of, you know, like, I guess the other thing that figuring it out is like what the best combination of imposters to players are and like what works the best. It's pretty clearly like 2 imposters, 10 people total is like the best combination. If you have like 1 imposter and like 5 or 6 players, it's really, really difficult because it's hard to do the sabotaging at the same time as like trying to fake task and then kill people and stuff. It's a lot easier, even if an imposter gets thrown out, it's a lot easier to have them be doing all these kind of like sabotages behind the scenes of like locking doors randomly to separate people or like causing meltdowns to make people go to certain places. It's a lot easier when someone's doing that behind the scenes, and you can just focus on like running around with people or faking tasks and stuff like that. And then with that, like the different like sabotages you can do, like those have like very different effects. So like some of them will split people up because they have to go to 2 different places. So that can like either be a good strategy if like there's only like 4 people and 1 imposter, where it's like, okay, I can guarantee kill a person if they come to this end, and then they're going to be in a real pinch for trying to like get the task done on time. You can do that sort of thing on certain levels. The light sabotage across the board is really good, where if you sabotage lights, the field of vision for everybody like goes down to just covering them pretty much. So you can vent out, which is like you pop up from a vent, which only imposters can do. You can do that in the same room as other people, and they just don't see it. And so like that's nice. You can murder people while other people are in the same room; they just don't see it if lights are out. So yeah, there's a lot of fun strategies there. It's just a really fun experience. We should totally do this on a level situation.
We really ought to. Yeah, that would be really fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm down any Friday night you want to. So, yeah. But and the other part about it is, especially like watching like streamers do it, is it's like a very like wholesome game, even though you're lying to your friends.
Yeah. Like, it's no consequence lying.
Yeah, and just like, you know, like trying to be conscientious if you interrupt with someone, like apologizing for it and stuff like that, but then also trying to get information. You know, like it just seems to be a very positive environment. So,
well, because if it devolves in everyone yelling, you can't share any information. So it is like, yeah, it is, even though you are, you know, hideously lying and stabbing your friends to death, the online etiquette is very incentivized.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Well, I was just saying, so this is the other game that Ben has been playing that I also started playing this week. And we were talking about the idea of like, or I was ruminating after playing. I'm like, it always felt very low stakes. You know, games don't take that long, and it never got to the point of like, where were you? You didn't, you know, people yelling at each other and stuff. And I was like, I wonder why that is. Cause like the experience, the movie experience that this is kind of cribbing from is very much The Thing and in other movies like that. So I wonder what's keeping it from getting there. And so I'm like, I wonder, like, you need people playing that like you had to pay $50 to play or something, and then you only get your money back if you're on the winning side. then the stakes get real high real fast, and you're going to get some interesting play. Although I think that would mostly just result in people being shitty.
Yeah.
I tried talking Dennis down from this idea.
Just make it interesting.
Stockholm.
I mean, because capitalism makes everything more.
But yeah, you mentioned, Ben, the idea of like having like a real life version of this done in like a mansion or something like that. That could be a lot of fun. It's just it is an experience that bears kind of taking into different forums, just because it is such an interesting and fun experience.
And it's not like it's not a terribly novel experience. Like, it is a very similar experience to like Werewolf, right? That's like tried and true. Like, a lot of people love that game. People play that at Gen Con every year, like in the wee hours of the morning. the thing that's like cool about it is it's well designed in that everybody has stuff to do, even if they get killed. And the adding of the technology of like Discord and like having people be able to like hang out and talk with one another as they play it, I feel like that's something that's like, this is the first instance of a game doing that like really well. And it's not even the design of the game. It's just, it happened to, that tech happened to be there. So
I somehow did not realize that I was a ghost that could still do things my first time getting killed. And definitely sandbagged my team. So sorry, guys.
All good.
But I think that speaks in general to just the new player experience, because it felt like pretty much everyone had a handle on what was going on, except for me. Or maybe that's just what it felt like. But, as people are like recounting, okay, I was here and I went there, and then this went off, so I went there. I'm like, none of these words make sense to me. This is, you could be making up rooms that don't exist. I could not call you on it right now. And so the best defense in that situation is just to not open your mouth unless called upon.
But then we had a solution for it, right? Is somebody posted the maps in the Discord channel so that everyone could look at them.
No.
Oh, even then, I'm like trying to pull that up on my phone and be like, okay, I was on. Well, hold on.
So I feel like this is a game that would be great to have, like the afterplay where you could. I don't know what it's called, but like when you're photo edit or video editing, and you can just slide the timeline.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I would love to have that on this where you could just see everything and just track what happened.
Yeah, that would be nice, actually. But
they were building, because the last time we talked about it, what we said was they're going to make a sequel rather than trying to unfuck the first game from the servers and everything standpoint. Since then, I guess everyone has convinced them to stay with the
They announced they weren't. Yeah, they weren't going to do a sequel. They're just going to add on to.
It has to be so weird to be at that studio and like release this game 2 years ago. Have it kind of. I mean, I never heard about it. I have no idea what it actually was. But then to have it become like the thing, for no discernible reason. I mean, it sounds like it's a good game. It sounds like it's getting attention that it deserved. But like, I couldn't pinpoint like the event that caused everybody to just pick this up. I couldn't see what like tipped it to critical mass.
We call that the Fortnite effect.
Popular streamers, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a team of 3 people, one of which is a programmer, and I think they live in Redmond, or they're based in Redmond. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's like a sad timeline somewhere online where it shows it like release date in 2018. It shows like they support it for like 3 to 6 months, and then they announce like sunsetting it and stuff like that, and it's like really sad, And then they like went off and started working on other games, and then it shows this like spike of popularity, and it's just like, oh shit.
Well, fuck our current project, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and they reduced the price too to $5.
No, you need to focus on launching the current project now, so that 2 years later it can take off.
Yes, because apparently games are like moderately priced whiskey now. You put it in the barrel, and by the barrel I mean on Steam, and then in 2 years that's when it hits. Not like it's peak, because we're not going for like 18-year or whatever, but like that's when you can get it out there and sell it to people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it sounds like I'm talking shit about this game. It sounds like you guys are having an awful lot of fun, so I do not intend to do
it's delightful. It's especially if you have no idea what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else about Among Us?
I hope that it opens the door for more of like social type games like this. But yeah.
Yeah, like relying on Discord existing is a game changer, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone to get pandemicked and embrace Discord.
Yeah.
Dennis, since you had Slay the Spire and Among Us there, it sounds reasonable to transition to you.
It wouldn't be if Slay the Spire and Among Us was all I had. So
okay,
honestly, like Slay the Spire is all we had.
Okay, yes, okay.
So no, we hit my 2 within. I am a Matryoshka doll for Ben this week.
Okay. David, how about you?
So I do not have a whole lot. I think we covered this in the pre-roll. So I went to visit my family. So a lot of last week was like me packing up and cleaning my apartment and, that sort of stuff. What I have gotten a chance to play some of is the new content patch for Division 2.
Okay.
Which basically what they introduced is a game mode where there's a 100-story skyscraper in New York City that, has been taken over by bad guys, them bad guys. And you have to fight your way up from the bottom. And each floor is like, an individual like roguelike challenge. And you can only save your progress like at every 10 floors you complete. And it starts with the enemy scaled at normal scaling and then ramps its way up all the way to like the highest difficulty levels.
So they put Let It Die into the Division 2.
Yeah, basically.
This just sounds like Slay the Skyscraper.
Yes. It is literal Slay the Spire. So one though kind of interesting thing is a number of the floors. The actual challenge on the floor is, I think, randomly generated, and a number of them will be just kind of like random kind of things you have to do. So one of the interesting things is that the floors can spawn with random objectives. So they can be things like, hack the servers or, hold the control point. Things like that. So that kind of adds some interest to the game. But other than that, it's just kind of a neat mode. Seems like they're trying to have something with a little more of a end game feel.
Yeah. Are you doing this with other folks, or are you doing this on your own?
Right now I'm just soloing it, partially just to kind of see how far I can get and how difficult it is, that sort of thing. But every so often I'll get tired of that and jump into a pickup group, and so far that's been a pretty positive experience.
Cool.
Yeah. So other than that, there's actually very little to say about it. It's kind of the same old game, but
cool.
It's nice to see them continue to support it.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds inventive. It's different than other stuff you have talked about here with it. It's a reasonable direction for them to go.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's a Kotaku's take on it, I think, is kind of interesting. Just I probably don't quite share the same perspective, but they very much endorse this as like catering to players that just want pure action, no puzzles or storyline or anything like that, which isn't really why I come to the game, but I think it's very legitimate for like that to be a way to play the game, and I think it's a good thing to have a mode that caters to that.
Yeah, basically, I won't stop until I have the Division 2 cookie clicker.
Yes, exactly. Other than that, the only thing I think I've played is playing Remnant with Dennis, which I don't know. Do you remember, Dennis, like what progress we made or what we did since last time?
Oh man, that would have been in the 2 weeks ago category, and
that was pre-Slay the Spire. So
no, it wasn't. I don't think I've opened Remnant since I've started Slay the Spire. We got stuck on the moth boss.
Yeah.
Doing
So they have a boss that is basically the what is the moth from Darkroot Forest?
Moonlight Butterfly.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's literally the Moonlight Butterfly stage. Like, cool. You're on a narrow platform, and the enemy is at range, and you fight them.
That's a good boss fight.
That's a good boss fight unless you spec entirely into melee, in which case
you have to wait.
Spent that boss fight rolling around while Solaire or someone chucked lightning bolts at the mob.
No, you summon Witch Beatrice, and she can solo.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Nice. Yeah, I'm playing that as shotgun dude, so I was completely unprepared for that. Which yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the grinding we've done is itself enough to get me over the hump, or get us over the hump, or if it's like it's going to have to be grinding and a change of weapons and tactics.
Yeah,
because I would love to shotgun me a butterfly.
As you do. But yeah, other than that, I think we went back and played through a couple of the just like side dungeons. There's a really neat one that it's, your health is constantly lowering, and so it's kind of a race through. However, the interesting thing at that is that this was Dennis didn't realize that you needed to upgrade your armor, whereas that's what level scaling is based off of. Whereas I've very highly upgraded armor, so I literally could just face tank every enemy.
So like, hey, why is David staying alive so much more than me?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I actually noticed it because I played through it solo, and the thing was like, it was like a mad sprint where, literally every second counts. And then we're playing this, and like my life never got less than like a quarter empty. And it's like, this isn't right. Like, what the hell is happening here?
The game just hates you specifically.
As you do, but honestly, I hate to just talk for like 5 minutes and not have much content, but that's really all I've got this week.
That's okay. Yeah, so for me, I've got like little bits of things that I can just make a few comments on. I started playing Hades. And Hades is really good. That is the new game. I mean, the final like 1.0 version is new. It, came out here relatively recently. It's been in early access for a while now. I think since like 2018 or something. This is Supergiant, the people who did Bastion and Transistor, and this kind of continues in that vein, top-down action. This feels closer to Bastion than to a Transistor. It doesn't have Transistor's kind of AP-based, real-time with pause kind of thing that it had going on, which is nice. I'm playing it on the Switch. It's fucking gorgeous, is one thing that cannot be denied. Supergiant has always had a real good hand on visuals, audio-visual kind of stuff, and that is not Pyre. They also did Pyre. Sorry, I don't want to forget Pyre because that's also fun. They did Pyre too. Sorry to interrupt myself there. No, but like they continue.
How dare you?
Yeah, they continue making it just be really refined, really just like fun character. So the idea is that you play as Hades' son, whose name I forget. And you are trying to get
Zimbabwe or something, right?
I can't recall. I know it's X something. Yes, but you're trying to escape from hell, and if you die when you go, you start back at the beginning. And hell is kind of reconfigured. And, your dad says, oh, you're never going to escape. And it's the Greek gods who are kind of appearing to you at different times and helping you, like giving
Is it literally when you respawn an Are You Winning Son situation?
I mean, kind of like your dad says, hey, this is hopeless. Also, I can't believe you ruined my realm like that. It's going to take forever to fix it up, etc., etc. You can also pet Cerberus, which is fun.
Of course.
Yeah. But they continue doing something that I love about Supergiant games, which is you have the Greek gods who appear to you, at just in between areas, and they offer you a choice, like which of your attributes or kinds of attacks do you want to improve for this run. So are you going to add an effect to your regular attack, to your flourish attack, to your ranged, or to your dash? Because this has a little dash roll to it, which is far refined, much more refined than it was in Bastion. They're relying on it more because it's sensible. Dash rolls kind of rule. But yeah, making those choices and having those choices be really meaningful is pretty great. I am terrible at this game so far because I've not played very much of it. But I'm super impressed with it, and I'm really happy to have it on the Switch where you can fire it up and, take on a couple of runs before you put it back down.
And this looks great. And you heard it here first. Dash rolls are the grappling hook of isometric.
I mean, it's pretty good. It's necessary. I think it's great.
I'm watching the videos on Steam right now, and just the opening cinematic from the first trailer is man, you guys don't even have to make a game. Just do this.
No, keep making games because they're really good.
I know, but if they had only made this trailer, it would.
Wait, I think we can compromise. What if they just made trailers and soundtracks?
I think that's Quibi, right? Or the new video platform. That's what that is.
Oh yeah, good God, Quibi! I forgot about Quibi. That doesn't make it out of 2020.
Also, as a side note, apparently the character's name is Zagreus.
Okay,
So I was right with the Z.
Yes.
Also, Wikipedia informs me, for no apparent reason, that is also, in addition to a Greek god, the Greek word for a hunter who catches living animals.
Huh.
So, the Tiger King of Greek gods.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super good. I mean, and when I talked about the animation, I wasn't even just speaking about their cinematic animations, which are also good. Their character design is great. Everybody is so sexy in this game. They really horned it up. They made this specifically for fan art, which is for fan art and for shipping, and that is a-okay.
I mean, these are gods. You got to.
Yeah. They have to be perfect.
It's not quite what is it, Dragon Crown,
right? It's not it's not, exactly, not quite Dragon Crown. You
said it right. Dragon Crown is so horny it's grotesque.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, Hades is real cool. I want to spend more time with it. Oh no, sorry, my thoughts are all over the place here. Apologies. No, the end game animation is fantastic too, and that is just so important for any kind of fast paced action game to have your actual character and enemy animation be smooth and readable, even at a distance. I had only really seen screenshots people posted, and it does that does not do it justice. You have to see it in motion. Yeah.
Does the game have the Double Fine trademark narrator?
The Supergiant trademark narrator?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
Studios with dumb names.
So, the main character, whose name I already forgot, Zagreus? Mm-hmm. Yes. Zagreus will say a couple of things. And as you're going, you will hear, Hades basically talk about, narrate the legend of Hades and make very passive aggressive references to the people, to all the damage that you are doing. And if it wasn't for
people die.
If it wasn't for an impertinent little whelp who saw fit to destroy my fountains or whatever, it's good. This feels like a culmination of a lot of things that that the studio has been doing, and I've enjoyed everything that they put together, even if Pyre was a little bit of a misstep for me.
Yeah, they're currently the bundle of literally everything they've ever made, plus the soundtracks, is $44.
Oh yeah, that's super reasonable. Yeah.
Especially because the regular game by itself is like $25 right now.
Yes. Yeah. And Bastion and Transistor, I'll throw a Pyre in there. They're all short and fun to go through. Like, there are worse things you could do than just fire up Transistor and play that.
Yeah. Is Transistor short?
Yeah, it's like an 8-hour game, something like that.
Okay, I'm probably closer to finishing that game than I think.
I could not beat it in a single sick day.
Gotcha.
Cool.
The other thing that I've been playing has been Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That is the HD re-release that Nintendo put out. That was Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. I primarily got it to mess around with Mario 64 because that's just not a game that is very easy to play right now, primarily because of, like, I don't know, my Wii isn't plugged in. My Wii U is not plugged in, mostly because all the games on it can be played elsewhere. And it's been a while since I played Mario 64, and it's Mario 64. They haven't touched anything except to, make it run and look smooth and fit the 16:9 aspect ratio. I think I was expecting a little bit more like smoothness on the camera. It's still like when you move the right stick, it's a little bit, it's kind of reading it as if it is C button inputs from the N64
turns or whatever.
Yeah. So it's really, it's quantized, right? So, you're like giving directions to the like key to like go, 30 degrees in that direction or whatever.
Yeah. Have you gotten though to the part where the dogs burst through the window of Peach's castle? Because that was phenomenal. Was not expecting it there.
No, that's I think you're thinking of the Resident Evil remake. Oh man. But yeah, I've not really spent a lot of time with Mario Sunshine. That is a divisive game. Pretty much everybody on Twitter has either been saying, yeah, Mario Sunshine, this game rules, more people get to play it, or Mario Sunshine, it's always been garbage, and now I've confirmed it. So we'll see. It's neat to have. Any questions about Super Mario 3D All-Stars?
Have you followed any of the Mario 64 conspiracies?
So the fact that they didn't up-res the L is real sign is one of the things that I saw. I guess I don't know what a Mario 64 conspiracy is.
So, like, I don't know, this is probably a meme that, again, like you said for other things, will not leave 2020. But there's a spat of creepypasta-style conspiracies about Mario 64.
I feel like I've heard a few of those, like, oh, there was a haunted, there was, I got this defective cart that had a fucked up thing in it. That feels like a common genre of creepypastas.
Yeah.
Yep. And let's leave it there. I've been streaming the DreadX collection too, but I've not finished that yet. It's really good. Play that. The DreadX collections, those little collections of lo-fi indie horror games that are being put out. Those are some of the most interesting things happening in indie games right now.
Is this different than the haunted PS1 disc, or is this the same?
It's in a real similar vein. I think that DreadX is kind of picking up the the effort there of organizing that, but it's a lot of the same developers who are involved in that.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll save more details for that for later. But yeah, that sounds like a segment to me.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where normally we ask you a question and then you answer it, but every once in a while we flip things around and we do kind of a usual Q&A kind of deal where we have you ask us questions. We call this free play, and that's what we're doing this week. So we put out the call for prompts, and I will get us started here. Ollie asks, have you found your taste in gaming has changed as you have gotten older? And if so, what genres have you fallen off of, and what have you fallen for?
I know for me, it's not quite a genre, but I used to be a real completionist. Like, it wasn't enough. I would beat everything I played, and I would 100% pretty much everything I played unless I absolutely hated it.
Yeah, I mean, you made a habit of platting stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was a hardcore trophy whore for a little bit there. And I think, especially like in the college days when I had GameFly, I don't understand how I kept up the pace of completed games that I did, other than college, yay. And so adulthood has definitely mellowed me out in terms of trying something, even something I like, and getting partway into it, and then just feeling like, yeah, like this was fun, but I'm not going to feel bad if I don't finish it, which I think college me would be outraged.
Yeah. I mean, so something that is kind of similar to that, I've generally just really started to prize games that are, shift toward liking games that are shorter in general, so I can get more of them in. I don't know if that's just because playing games is my job, and so if it's a shorter game, I can get my work done sooner. But like, I would find myself really, liking playing, long JRPGs and stuff, and that's just not really a thing that I do too much of anymore. I put 40 hours into Death Stranding, and that was good and fun, but that's a rarity.
There's something to be said for stuff that fits in an afternoon.
Yeah, or like fits easily into a weekend, or to a couple of sits. Like I like a game that is a couple of sits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Ben?
I think I have a similar kind of pattern. I think the big thing for me is I kind of see video games similar to like movies, where it's like as you accrue more and more experiences of them, you kind of, the standard that you have for them is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, so if I play this action RPG game, I have this like wider basis of comparison to compare it against. And so if it's not as good as those, then I don't see it as well. Whereas like when you're a kid and you just have a single game and that's your only game, it's like, I'm going to play the shit out of this because this is all I got.
Yeah.
So I kind of find myself like, kind of as you guys say, like being more dismissive of certain types of games, like that are really big time sinks or longer. If I've already played that type of game before, one example I could think of is I'm probably not going to fall back into a Call of Duty type game again ever, just because I've had that experience once and it's fun. It's certainly fun. But it's just not something I'm looking to do again.
Fall back into a Call of Duty like single player campaign, or fall back into playing like a first person shooter online?
Multiplayer. Playing like multiplayer for like a year or something like that. I mean, I guess I do it to similar extents with like Rocket League, but I guess that feels like a different experience.
That's like a social activity primarily for you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's no kill streaks in Rocket League.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
I mean, you can't get demos. Yeah, that's true. They don't do any streaks or tactical nukes, though, for demoing a certain number of people in a row, unfortunately.
Well, David, how about you?
Man, I basically don't finish hardly any games, and for the most part, pretty much never have. I mean, I guess technically I beat Division 2 and like Destiny and all those sorts of things, but I don't know. Beating games has never really been my thing.
Yeah, I mean, like as far as tastes go, you've been pretty consistent in sticking with online kind of stuff.
Yeah,
not games as a service, but you've generally been down with MMOs and things like that for as long as I've known you. Well, not for as long as I've known you, but since high school or whatever, let's say that.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it is just I tend to play very often, but for relatively short periods of time. So I tend to like games that can just like, I don't know, jump in and like grind a thing a little bit and then like, go do something else.
You want to gild the Skinner box here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see here. Paul writes, are there any spooky or fun Halloween type games that you like to play this time of year? My kids enjoy Costume Quest 1 and 2, and I always like going back to a side-scrolling Castlevania, for example. I mean, it's not specific to this time of year. But I would always be down for playing a Castlevania. I don't have like a tradition. I am generally just always playing a horror game, even if it's just for a stream. So by default, I guess yes. But it's not just a spooky season thing.
Mm-hmm. I played Costume Quest when it was released free on Epic for a little bit, which was like I think probably exactly 6 months away from Halloween. And so it was fun and the kids enjoyed watching it, but it just felt so tonally dissonant with the time of year that I would be interested to crack it open again. Now when it feels a little more appropriate.
Yeah. Did David or Ben, do either of you have a habit of doing this?
I sadly have no Halloween traditions.
Yeah.
I do more things for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I share the family costume that we've got going this year?
Yes,
Sure,
please
go
do.
for it.
So I'm going as Darth Vader. Luke and Milo are going as Jedi, and Jen is going with her belly painted as the Death Star.
That's very good.
Wow.
Oh,
So
man.
I don't think I have anything other than like each year resolving to go back and play Alan Wake and not actually doing it.
Oh.
I don't know, like other than Alan Wake, are there any like action-y horror games? Because I feel like that's my big problem is I like the idea of horror games, but most of them, the gameplay doesn't interest me.
I mean, like, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
The later ones of those. Metro, I think would qualify. Alan Wake Control settles into that a little bit.
Nice. Is Resident Evil 7, like, does that ever get back to being action?
Toward the end, that's, the shooting is not what you're primarily there for. I would still recommend it. It's still really good, but yeah.
Because I think they just added that to Game Pass.
Yes, they did. I signed up for Game Pass. That's not really news. It's just a thing that I did. Let's see here.
You have Netflix too?
Yes, I do have Netflix. Yes. Christopher asks, everyone has their comfort TV shows and movies for when times get tough or annoying, but what are some of your comfort games to take a brain vacation with? Strategy management kind of stuff, is usually the when I talk about like, man, I would fall into a hole with Crusader Kings. It is precisely because it would hit the Frostpunk, management kind of thing for me. So that would be mine.
I think like Picross or Sudoku is my answer for this.
Yeah.
Something you just kind of go on autopilot and a certain part of your brain lights up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun for me. It's a interesting, definitely Warframe is a thing. And then kind of the weird thing that I just realized was this for me is not so much playing, but watching Let's Plays of like grand strategy games.
Oh, and hearing people like talk through their decisions and stuff? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
I could get behind that, yeah.
Yeah. Dennis, how
So
about
I'm
you?
gonna call out one that I haven't mentioned on the show yet, but I've been playing for a while. Have you guys ever heard of AFK Arena?
No.
No.
Nope.
Oh yeah,
Idle
so
game?
it's a little mobile game. It's like a character battler where you pick your 5 team members and hit go, and then they battle against the others until somebody wins. And literally the only game to it is you can choose when your character uses their ult. And they're 99.99% of the time you want them to just use their ult as soon as they have it. And so there's a mode where you play 2x speed and auto ult. And I can't tell you the last time I've unchecked those boxes. But it is a very, very long progression tree, and you can upgrade and upgrade the upgrade and upgrade the upgrade and upgrade the upgrades for the upgrades. And so that's been on my phone for a long time now. And every week as we're getting ready for the level, I'm like, man, if I ever really bottom out on stuff I've played, I can talk AFK Arena. But instead I'll put it on this question because I'm not even playing a game at this point. I am getting rid of the exclamation points next to all the icons in the game. But there's, it's that cookie clicker soothingness about it. And that fills a brain vacation spot for me for sure.
Nice. Let's see here. Greg says or asks, recently while watching a Let's Play of The Last of Us by a streamer, I saw her cry during the open prologue where Sarah is killed. It's in the prologue, so I guess that's fine. So that made me wonder, has a game ever made you cry? Yep. Yeah. Dear Esther, To the Moon, Walking Dead, Season 1, Silent Hill 2. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I forgot about Walking Dead Season 1. This sounds like overly insecure, but it's like it's hard to find the line between dude misting and crying for me. Like I don't know if I've ever like openly bawled at a game.
Yeah.
But I've definitely dude missed into Walking Dead and The Last of Us Part 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I think The Walking Dead Season 1 is the universal touchstone for this, and I'll cry for anything. I cry at commercials. Like I cry at musicals. It's very easy to get me there. I was a wreck at the end of The Walking Dead Season 1, and Jen had been out getting groceries, running errands and stuff, and comes home, and I literally finished like a minute before she walks in the door. And I'm just sitting. At the time we had our couch pushed back in the living room, so I had put a chair. And if you guys remember our old house, it's a very big living room. And so I'm sitting just like all alone in the center of the living room in just a single chair, bawling.
It's like, oh like, God, who died?
Me, I did. Yeah, that one gets people.
David, how about you?
Man, so I am not sure I can think of anything with specifically a game that I ever did. Like, definitely, I'm someone that, like, I've, cried in relation to, like, books and, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure about games where I have.
That's fine.
Part of that's probably because, like, I don't play enough walking simulators.
Something designed specifically to be, to have an emotional appeal. Yeah.
Right. Like, I kind of want someone to make the version of Call of Duty that, like, drives people to tears. But I feel like that would be a pretty tall ask.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten 24 kills to the nuke?
Let's see here. Marasan asks, with cookies being a hot topic for internet privacy, as well as being a delicious snack, especially with milk, it seems that everybody's web results are tailored to them. With that in mind, what are some good hidden treasures of the internet that you think people may not know about? My answer is Garfield minus Garfield.
Garfield minus Garfield's good.
It is good. Mm-hmm. This is hard. I should have read this question ahead of time in order to get a good.
Yeah.
I'm worried that my answer is too basic, but I also I don't know what is the universal mega comic, but the one like web comic site that I still check on regularly is XKCD.
Okay.
And again, I don't know how much it's faded from the public consciousness or how much that is still pretty mainstream, but it just consistently has delightful humor.
It's popular. It's one of those, like, it made the jump to being shareable, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that long running one that actually, like, adapted and stuck around because of that. Like, all that I've got, it's tough because, like, all my, like, favorite obscure stuff has probably, like, gone away or, like, honestly is problematic now because I found it and liked it in the mid 2000s. And that was just like a different time. So, like, right now, my favorite thing is to find just what probably would have once been Tumblr accounts, but Twitter accounts that have a particular purpose. They just, every once in a while, they just put out like a particular kind of image. So, like, one that I really like is Computer Aesthetics, and they just share old photographs of like computers from the 90s and like people looking dorky, playing with them. I like images with elegiac auras, which are just these really like lonely or just photos that look like the end of the world kind of thing. That one's really popular. People really dig that one. There's also one. It is I forget what it's called, but it's people selling mirrors. So it is photographs pulled from Craigslist. Like the people who are trying to sell mirrors and trying to take photographs, but of the mirror without showing themselves, and all like basically it's just all these people with these different strategies of how do I take a picture of this mirror without having myself in it, not understanding that the angle of incidence is the angle of refraction, so all you have to do is just stand off to the side of the mirror and take a picture of it.
Well, I mean, clearly the right answer is become a vampire.
Well, yeah. So then you can sell all the mirrors you want for eternity. But so yeah, just weird specific Twitter accounts like that. Those are good to me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Ben, how about you?
I'll fire off on 3. I don't know how obscure they are, so hopefully some of them people haven't heard of. Old one is 5secondfilms.com, which I just checked, and apparently they're still making things, but
those are so good.
5-second films every day. So, at least some of them are going to hit. Some of them are going to be good quality.
Meeps.
It's a number. Yeah, that's right.
I love the Meeps one.
It's a numbers game with that one, I think. 2 other ones, YouTube series. Red Letter Media, I think, is really, really strong for film analysis, if people like that. But it's mostly just people from Wisconsin sitting around drinking and talking about movies. So I think that's great. And then another one that's the newest is All Gas No Brakes. I went down a rabbit hole of watching all those videos. That is pretty good. There are a lot of
what's the top line? What is All Gas No Brakes?
It's a person who, after college, bought an RV and with 2 of his friends went around to conventions at the U.S. and interviewed people.
Oh, cool.
And so they did the Area 51 storming. They did interviews with people there. They did more recently Portland protests or people partying on the beach during coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Nice.
So I think for me, a few things. One, this one's not actually internet specific, but you're probably gonna find it on the internet. Something people don't realize with the way history shook out is that a lot of, in particular, Middle East and Southeast Asia, a lot of the things that we would think of as being super old and in the past, samurai and ninjas and crap, actually happened post the invention of photography, which means you can find a lot of badass pictures of actual samurai and stuff. So that's just, if you ever want to see cool things or have photographic evidence of the fact that the people that complain about female characters in For Honor are full of it, just look up some of that stuff.
Yeah.
The another one is news.ycombinator.com, or Hacker News, is basically a news aggregator that is kind of the de facto gathering place for Silicon Valley subculture. So in addition to just surfacing a lot of interesting stories, it's also interesting as a sort of window into what is that subculture and those people thinking about.
Yeah.
You've pulled a couple articles from there for NBoss.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's actually my go-to way to try to find NBoss stories, because I feel guilty just every week my NBoss being what did I read on Polygon yesterday.
Not I.
Yeah.
Well, So I kind of try to do that to surface something that's a little different.
Nice. Yeah. Let's see here. So we're coming up on 20 minutes. So I'm going to do one more, and I will save the rest of these for a later time. If we have a light multiplayer coming up, I'll sprinkle them through here. But I think this will be a good lightning round one. David asks, would you rather there be more hours in a day or more days in a year? More hours in a day. Come on.
I got a lot of questions about this one.
Yeah. So let's assume that if this is accomplished by either slowing down the rotation of the Earth or by, let's see here, pushing the Earth away from the sun. Let's assume.
Or can we have humans just move a little bit faster on everything?
Yeah. So let's assume there is no unintended cosmological consequence because of this.
Okay.
More hours in a day for sure.
I think I have to go there as well.
So if the more hours in the day option, then there's going to be less days in the year, right?
Oh shit! I didn't think about it being.
This is same number of days in the year, just more hours each day.
Yeah,
but that's different than what Cole's saying. If the rotation just slows down, you're still the year's still the same amount of time.
Well, no, the spin of the Earth slows down, but the actual revolution, doesn't.
Same time.
What's
yeah,
that?
So I see. I take what I took Cole as saying is all of the physical constants shift around so that we still have the same weather and the Earth doesn't freeze because it's farther away from the sun or whatever.
Right. If the number of hours stays fixed, I feel like that is a different question than what David is asking. Than what question asker David is asking. However, I think that my point still remains. I don't really care how long the year is. What I want is more time. Honestly, just to fill with scrolling Twitter and bullshit like that. But
doom scrolling.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
It would line up so much better to how I actually want to wake and sleep, which is stay up longer and then sleep a little longer on the back end.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the things is I'm assuming that with the longer days, you also have a proportionately longer amount of time you can stay awake.
Shit, dude.
This is another wrench.
Yeah.
How much longer do you want the day to be too?
So ideally what I want is in the first in the Super Nintendo Harvest Moon, where technically it was supposed to have you on a 24-hour schedule. However, after the sun goes down, you can just keep going for as long as you have energy. And then you fall asleep, and then you wake up at the exact right time, having gotten a full night's sleep, no matter how late you stayed up. Basically, that's what I want.
See, I'm thinking spoiler. I'm thinking the Uzumaki approach.
You don't want an Uzumaki approach.
I think the advantage of the more days in the year is when I inevitably fuck up, and I'm I'm just not going to be productive today. Then with more days in the year, I have more fresh starts where I foolishly can resolve that today's going to be the day.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I feel like if one crunched the numbers, I wonder if more days in the year you would just spend proportionately more time sleeping, so it wouldn't be an as efficient way to pervert the laws of time.
Maybe. Dennis, you were going to say something?
Oh yeah, well we were referencing XKCD earlier, and they have a comic about the 28-hour day, and how you can arrange your schedule so that you're sleeping roughly at normal times and awake at roughly normal times, but you organize your week into 6 days instead of 7. And I've eyed this with envy many a time.
Shit, I could actually pull that off, couldn't I?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wait, have any of you guys ever tried any of the
Oh, like polyphasic sleeping, stuff like that.
Hours 3 times a day and stuff.
No, I've not tried that. That seems everybody that I've heard talk about doing that has described it as being just a miserable experience. Have you tried it?
I mean, how is that different from life in general?
more miserable.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. For the thing is, like, us sleeping for 8 hours a night is not the way we were supposed to do it anyway. Like, if you look at the way people slept, like, for, let's say, basically prior to the Industrial Revolution, when we had to keep, like, a schedule, you would, like, go to sleep after the sun went down, but then everybody would wake up, like, between, like, midnight and 2, and, like, and then you would just go and do some stuff, and then you would go back to sleep. This is an actual thing. So, like, that's when...
it was actually
what's the opposite of a siesta?
I don't know what a siesta is.
Diasta?
Yeah.
So it was an evolution to when during the Industrial Revolution, we dug too deep and released the GRU. Yes,
So basically, everything is made up. Do crimes. So thank you everybody for writing in. If we didn't get to yours, I apologize. It's because we camped out on the. Oh wait, Ben, I didn't ask you. I didn't get a final answer from you.
So I'm still thinking about it. Like, all right, so if there's more days in a year, so the idea that the planet's like further space apart, but days are still 24 hours, right? But if you do that, then like life expectancy goes down, even though it's like still the same amount of time. Like people die, they're like 50s or something instead. It's kind of weird.
Look, it's not the minutes you take; it's the takes that minute your breath away.
Right, but what if we do it Highlander style, in which you can take someone else's minutes?
I mean, what you're describing is In Time, the Justin Timberlake movie. No, so Ben, the only effect that has is you celebrate fewer birthdays. Like that is literally it. But like after a certain point, like birthdays are cool, but after 21, you're not like, I'm 25, I can rent a carpet shampooer now. So
it would take you that much longer to get to 21, though.
Let's assume that you have the same number of hours on the planet Earth.
Yeah, but your age is lower.
But that doesn't matter.
This is turning into the Pirates of Penzance.
Well, here's the other thing too: is the seasons last longer too, and that's the very model
of a modern Major General.
Yes, let's say the seasons last longer.
That's a big deal in Seattle, man. Like 6 months is pushing it.
No. The seasons last longer if the year gets longer, but if days get longer than the.
What if we go
yes, seasons would also be longer because the individual days got longer as well. So
living in Seattle, I don't think I could do that option.
Okay.
So what if we went like, has anyone played Cultist Simulator, where there's like the 13th, or the 25th or whatever secret hour? Like maybe that's what happens. Is there is actually a 5th season?
I mean, we have that with Leap Days already.
Yeah.
Oh God, guys! You just described Janinjuary, and Ask a Ninja is the other corner of the internet I would point you to.
Okay. I'm partial to Smarch, the 13th month that was only observed in Springfield because of the misprinted calendars they bought.
I'll pick whatever option gives you an evenly divided calendar that doesn't require leap days. I'll pick that.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, now that we've settled that, thank you everybody for writing in.
You knew what you were asking.
Yeah, David hardcore nerd sniper.
I like how the most interesting question is the one that had nothing to do with video games.
Oh, that's always the case. Oh, man. But yeah, thank you. If you would like to participate in this, go to facebook.com/The Level Podcast on Monday afternoons and watch for those to go up.
The end boss.
Now it is time for the end boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games, things that are exciting to us. I'll do one here real quick. A game that I'm curious about just got a release date. So NieR Replicant, the remake of the original NieR game. It has a bullshit title, NieR Replicant version 1.22, blah, blah, blah. Don't call it that. It's just NieR Replicant. It's fine. But that is coming out on April 23rd of 2021 on, let's say, current gen systems, PS4, Xbox One, PC, with substantial upgrades. The trailer, at least this trailer, doesn't show any real upgraded any real upgraded gameplay. It's just taking you through some of the places that you have seen, but I understand that they are kind of backporting some of the improved combat from NieR Automata, which is cool and good, and kind of generally just taking another crack at a very imperfect game that I like in principle. But wasn't always the funnest thing to play. Go listen to our Watch Out for Fireballs episode about that. Yeah, but I am excited that has a date, and it's, hopefully we'll still be alive then.
Yeah. It's good to hope for things.
Yeah.
I'm here for this kind of phase of video games where we are rebooting and redoing stuff like they do in comics, like just the way that I think the revisits that have been done have fared very well, and I'm happy to see more of them.
Yeah, it just, like, NieR Automata came out and so many people liked that they had to do something to, at the very least, like, rescue the original NieR from the generation that it was on, because, like, it's not playable on anything else. So at the very least, getting it onto PC would be a good way to go. But also, kind of trying to fix some of its flaws is good and worth doing.
So if one is new to the series, do you go to this game first and then Automata, or do you go Automata this one?
They're very tenuously linked. I think that if I was talking with somebody right now, just with the way that they exist, play Automata, because it's kind of just its own good thing. I haven't played this one just yet. You don't have to know an awful lot about what happens in the original NieR to dig on Automata.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. So that's my things are happening story. Dennis, what's going on Pokemon Go?
Yeah, and in a sign of the times getting better, Pokemon Go is going to be reverting some of the changes that it made as concessions to the pandemic. And notably, they're also going to be keeping many of their concessions to the pandemic. So, as people are more comfortable going back outside, and hopefully we get back to, I won't say normalcy, but a non-scared you're going to catch a deadly virus by going outside phase. They're going to be taking away or returning to normal some things like hatch distance for eggs, like you have to walk a certain amount to get them to hatch. Increased effectiveness of incense only applies while walking, so some of the buffs. But they're going to keep things like XP bonuses for the first Pokemon catch you get every day, and some other buffs that they gave certain elements of the game. So, like I said, I primarily included this just as a sign of, maybe things are starting to swing back to normal if they're patching Pokemon Go to be more like it was before. And hey, hopefully the stuff they retained shows up as quality of life improvements.
Yeah. It's a unique situation, where not every game needed to make an adjustment like Pokemon Go did. And it's good to see them, recognize that maybe some of the stuff was just a good thing. Like, oh, we actually improved the game, and we wouldn't have done it without that pressure. I'm not trying to brightside COVID by saying Pokemon Go got more fun, but
no, but there is like this, in the honeymoon phase where it's new and exciting and novel. you can be delighted by, or at the very least willing to put up with some of the BS. But then, there's never a convenient point to be like, okay, time to walk back some of that stuff because we've been there before or whatever. So it is interesting to see them taking this chance to change.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Ben, what happened at that PS5 showcase?
Yeah, I was just going to point out they did a release trailer for Resident Evil 8. And speaking of like revamping games, it looks kind of like Resident Evil 4, which I'm all about.
God, I want to go into that vampire castle. I want to be in there so bad. It's
called Resident Evil Village. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a castle that also looks like something out of Resident Evil 4 as well. It's just a trailer that doesn't show any gameplay or anything like that, but it basically just has the setting. There was a scene of a graveyard that looked very similar to Resident Evil 4 in the early village. So I'm all about that if they return to that setting. So
yeah.
I mean, they've got to be related, right? Like they're going to connect.
So. I mean, yeah, like 7 was not the hard reboot that people thought it was, Chris Redfield comes in at the end and he's present in this trailer here. In fact, this trailer like picks up right after the previous trailer. The previous trailer left off with, Chris, doing some terrible things to Ethan.
I know we've had a level question that's what character would you most likely like to kill off? And I think Chris Redfield is probably it. Like, I am all about like not rebooting. Like, I would rather like unreboot Resident Evil, but Chris himself is a character that like I have no desire to ever see in another one of these games.
Chris without Wesker is weird.
Yeah, he's just like I know. I feel like 6 is a good thing to go by because it's basically Resident Evil oops all characters. And Chris is by far the most boring character.
Yeah.
Like, Helena isn't even a character and she's more interesting than him.
Well, she has she has her sister that you end up fighting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm real excited about Resident Evil 8, you guys. If my suspicion is correct and is not delayed, I think it's going to be coming out sometime Q1 next year. Hopefully, I will have a PS5 by that point. But probably won't.
We should stop and talk about this. Who's getting a PS5 and which version are they going to get?
I would like to get a PS5 disc edition because most of my PS4 games are on discs, and I would like to keep the backward compatibility if I could. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
I'll do 5 digital as soon as I can.
Yeah.
See, I feel like the digital version is just more or less broadcasting, hey, we're going to gouge you.
They run sales an awful lot on PSN. They're actually pretty good about that.
It does definitely seem like a path to a monopoly situation, since it's like, oh, you don't need GameStop anymore. Like, we'll be very good for this go around, and then when we're the only market in town.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't mind video games increasing in price though, because they're severely like undervalued, I think. Right now.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But by inflation, games should cost much more.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the problem is people price that based on like, yes, if you only buy the couple of decent games that come out each year, games massively overpriced. But at least for me, I factor in all the games I buy that I'm like, this game is hot shit. I would say they're very overpriced.
Well, but also games are only at max price for 3 months. So really the price hike just applies if you want to be, if you want to get it right when it comes out. This is a bigger topic than we can address here in an MBOS.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Which one are you going to do, Ben?
Resident Evil was the one that I was talking about.
Oh no! Which PS5? Yeah.
allow me to answer my own question.
Yeah.
I haven't decided on which version yet because I can see what you're saying with the disc because I still have PS4 games on disc that I would like to play, but it's like half and half, so I'll probably need to keep my PS4 around anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I mean, if like PS4 games that you downloaded, you can just re-download them on your PS5.
Oh, they're allowing that?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the same PSN
it's
store.
just tied to your store account. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes
I feel
it
like
better.
I know. I feel like PlayStation or Sony or whatever has burned up most of my goodwill this console cycle. So my goal is not to buy one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll see if I actually do that.
Yeah.
How have they burned up their goodwill? Just out of curiosity.
Just all of like the cross-play bullshit and the exclusives and just all that stuff.
Yeah. No, and I weirdly I managed to get not weirdly because the launch was still a nightmare, but it was better managed than the PS5 one. I did pre-order an Xbox Series X, so
nice.
Got that coming my way, which is good at the very least, as a Games Pass machine mostly, but yeah. Anyway, David, round us out with a story about No Man's Sky. They're still doing it.
Yeah, so they are still releasing expansions to No Man's Sky. Their latest one is Origins, and it, from what I understand, this one doesn't exactly explicitly add new features or like storyline or anything like that, but it just adds a bunch of new variables to their procedural generation. So I think my understanding, some of this is like just kind of, new ways things can look and, new pieces for the, animals to be made out of and, stuff like that. But what I think is kind of the biggest thing is previously a planet would either have a storm or not. So, when a storm's going on, like it's happening on the entire planet, whereas they've added kind of a more realistic weather system. And then also for the most part, like a storm just meant that it got really hard to see because there's like fog over everything, and whatever environmental danger that planet had, so like extreme heat or radiation or whatever, would get really, really bad. Whereas now you can actually have, discrete storm things, so like lightning strikes and things like that. Also, they've apparently added sandworms. A la Doom.
This is the thing that I saw most people react to.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't heard anything about adding like worm hooks, so I don't think you can ride them Dune style.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently horrifying sand dooms or sand worms are a thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Do they respond when you walk without rhythm? Yeah.
Only if you're you can only do that if you're playing the VR version.
Does this mean your character's eyes can glow blue now too? That'd be sweet.
God, guys, how good is Dune?
We'll find out in December.
I'm thinking of the book and also the David Lynch one. I assume the movie. I assume New Dune will be fine. I don't know.
You think so?
Maybe.
It could go full on new Mad Max, and that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be a good crossover.
It just turns out they happen on the same planet.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
And that planet is Australia.
Oh geez, it's like the Jetsons Flintstones crossover. Yeah. Well, that sounds like an episode to me. How do you guys feel about buttoning it up?
Buttons.
The end, boss.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this episode of The Level. We really appreciate it. If you are here It's just based on looking at Twitter, the debate was a fucking nightmare. So if we wake up tomorrow, being in a failed state and all, I hope that you're all okay. Just for the love of God, just the most important thing is to take care of each other, and also vote for Biden, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I'm very demoralized.
Watch your neighbors back.
The opposite of
some food and ammo.
The opposite of fear is solidarity. That is what I will say. The opposite of fear is solidarity. But I shouldn't be bummed out because I'm happy because this was a fun episode. It was, a bummer missing a week, and it's good being back. So if you're listening, you know what to do to help us. Ratings, reviews, share us with your friends, all of those kind of things. We're not always doom and gloom. Sometimes we're doom and gloom.
I like it.
So I've been Kole Ross. Dennis, anything to say about Deck of Wonders?
No, just thank you for an incredible campaign and more new news soon.
Cool. Okay, I've been Kole Ross. You can find my tweets on Twitter. It'd be weird if you found them anywhere else. It's at Kole Ross, KoleRoss.
I'm Dennis Furia. You can find me. Let's go twitch.tv/Deck of Wonders this week.
I'm David Mysmith. You should probably just find one of the other guys.
I'm Ben Merkel, and you can find my tweets on the Wayback Machine.
Mm-hmm. And stick around for some titles. Okay, I've only got one. It's a little bit long, but I liked it. Knocked out, knocked up, or knocked off.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wrote that one down as well, and then I was like, there's no way that's going to be a title. Because it's so long, but I do like it as well.
Yeah.
This is a deeper cut, but I had moderately priced whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
In relation to Among Us's popularity.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to decide. No, KEY, because if it's WISKY, it's like actual like Scottish whiskey, I think.
I style it with an E.
Yes, whiskey would be the way to go, I think. Anything else, Dos?
Oh yeah, I've got Slay the...
Go on.
I've got Slay the Skyscraper, and then I also have a couple of sits, which is how long you want a game to last.
Yes, ideally. Ben, how about you?
I just have Dune and Gloom.
That was really late. Let's see here. And David, what you got?
Sure. So first off, I want to apologize. I've apparently had like really bad lag this show, so I keep interrupting people.
It only like happened. It only like led to a real overtalk once. And there were a couple of interrupts, but like it hasn't created like many more markers.
You can't control it either. So.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I appreciate the apology, but that's fine. So it all comes out in the edit, bro.
Yeah. So the ones I have is I have not that I've ... whatever. I had Shotgun Me a Butterfly.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Not Quite Dragon Crown. A couple of sits. And Dune and Gloom.
Okay. If the length of knocked out, knocked up, or knocked off is a deterrent, I also like Shotgun Me a Butterfly. That got a general laugh from the crowd, but I do like knocked out, knocked up, or knocked off.
Yeah, I think if we can fit it, I think that's definitely the one to go with.
Yeah, I like it.
If the CMS says, "Hey, this title is too long," I will go with Shotgun Me a Butterfly. If there is no disagreement,
I'm down.
It cannot have been our longest title, so
no, it can't. Yeah, it was a really good line and very clever. So. And also it related to a big game that we talked about really for the first time this week. So, yeah.
Dig it.
Cool. All right. Take care, everybody. I'm going to go and watch highlights of this thing because I can't stop myself from touching the stove. So,
Yeah.
I'll be doing it alongside you.
Cool.
Same.
All right. Take care, you guys.
Good luck, everybody.
Yes. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.